Hello, my beautiful, shining beings on this fine, fine day. I welcome you to Sunday Live with Sylvia, coming to you live from beautiful Eastbourne by the sea. And I'm super excited to be here, as I am every Sunday, because it's just wonderful to connect with all these wonderful, shining beings from all around the world, all times, all spaces, and all the multifold dimensions. And I got a great topic today as well. So I'm very happy to be here and just getting started with the wonderful things. So today we have the two questions that will change your life. And I'm looking forward to getting into that in a little while, because it is true that they have changed my mind. They changed my mind as well as my life. Well, you have to change your mind before you can change your life, right? It sort of goes like that. What can we say? Different ways to changing our minds. It's not struggle and strive any longer, and I'm happy about that. Good morning to dear Ilka and Marianne, my darlings, especially beautiful, shining beings from beautiful Germany. Yes, three German ladies. We could start talking in German, couldn't we, if we really wanted to? That'd be fun. And then the English subtitles go absolutely nuts, and it's absolutely hilarious what they say. Oh, I hope you're feeling fine on this fine day, regardless of whether it is morning for you or evening or late at night, or even in the deepest, darkest night itself. Wherever you are, be welcome. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here and being with us and doing that energy thing, because it's just lonely without you. Okay, so before we get into it, a few things. I've had oh my good grief. Good morning, Dieter. Another German here. Right, so we've got, see, I've said this, there's potential in Germany for modern energy. If we could explain this somehow to the Germans, what it is that we're doing, because the way the language works, and all the other things, Germans like to be reasonable and rational. And modern energy is reasonable and rational. It is also immense fun and super playful. And that's one of those things, isn't it? How is that even possible, that we can have something that is logical, that makes sense, scientific, and it's fun? I mean, come on. It's a fantastic thing. One of these days, I'll figure out a way of how you know, to spread the message in a more, I don't know, successful fashion, so that more people can hear and listen. That'd be wonderful. Yes, it would. Yeah, so it's been a really, 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 really busy week. I'm not complaining, because this is entirely self-inflicted, of course, as almost everything is that befalls me, which is in and of itself, that's good. That's nice if you think about it. Oh, good morning, Paul, Solar Phoenix. We have a non-German amongst us. I'm heartened by this fact. Hello, my dear. Hello and welcome. So yeah, been working on our conference, and I think having a conference once a year, so we get on the same page and we get to hear what's new and what people have been doing, is really, really important. And if you are a GOE member, this conference is free for you. All the people who've worked on it have given their time and their effort and their energy and their love entirely for free. So you can enjoy that. And if you're not a GOE member, I highly encourage you to become a GOE member. We have fabulous things. We are a wonderful community, and you get lots and lots and lots of free information and all sorts of things in the members library, and just generally being a part of the modern energy community is a wonderful thing. So I invite you to join if you have not. This conference is a great opportunity, and it's next weekend. Hello, Pen. That's a great pen name. Hello, Pen. Good morning. Solar Phoenix says, I'm non-German. Well, yeah, that's fine. That's a fine thing. We need all sorts of different people to make the world go around, as they say. Hey, Pen, where are you from? What country are you from? I'd like to know that, just for a laugh. See where we're going with this. Yeah, so I love the format that we've developed for the video conferences. It's really great. Just this interview format of asking people what they've been doing, what they've learned, what they would like to share is really so much nicer than having to make people stand in front of the class with a clipboard and with a laser pointer or in front of a whiteboard and the slides and all of that. That's all very good. But modern energy, the information transmission in modern energy is personal. It's from one person to another person. That's what modern energy is all about. This is why it's difficult to get it into the NHS or into the local hospital because it's a personal thing. And this information and the techniques and the knowledge and the excitement about it is transmitted from one person to another person. And, unless you guys start transmitting, there'll be no more modern energy soon enough. But that's another story. So our conference is not a psychology conference. Hallelujah. Oh, man, I'm going to say this. I have never been so bored in my entire life as I was at a energy psychology conference back in the day. And I can't say where it was and when it was, it doesn't matter. But it was so boring and so depressing. Oh my good grief. And the reason it was so was that they were trying very hard to have a psychology conference. And psychology conferences clearly have to be something. They have to be really dreary, really dour, boring, and lots of weird charts and just, oh, good God. There was this moment, I realized this, that I was bored. And the reason, how I realized this is when I'm sitting in a lecture and I'm starting to draw things like fried eggs in the handouts manual. And my handouts manual was literally covered. It was covered in little drawings of all sorts of things. Spiders, angels, fried eggs, bananas. At one point, I worked my way through fruit down the entire side, an apple, an orange, and so on, just to keep me, alive and from just falling over and going to sleep. And I'm used to that. I'm like, okay, I'm easily bored with things that are too slow and too boring. So I kind of didn't really think about it. But then I sort of looked around and I saw that the people sitting a couple of chairs away from me, there were two people, and I knew who they were because I talked to them in the breaks before. One of them was a hospice nurse from Ireland, I believe, a hospice nurse who had come to this conference to learn something that I might help her in her work with dying people and their relatives. Okay. The other person was a Vietnam War veteran who had built a center to look after other Vietnam War veterans who still had PTSD like 50 years after the fact when they went over there as 18-year-olds, and so these two people were active in their communities trying to help people, and they'd come to this conference to learn something that would help them. And you know what they were doing in that lecture where I was drawing the fruit down the side? They were playing battleships. They were playing battleships in their conference manuals to keep themselves entertained in this lecture. And when I saw that, I had this moment where I just went, if I ever get to arrange a conference that has the word energy in it, the conference is going to have energy in it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be personable. It's going to be colorful. It's going to be stimulating. It's going to be useful, that you learn something that you can take back to your veteran center, that you can take back to your hospice, and that's actually going to help you. And so it was worth coming to the conference in the first place. And the whole sort of mental concept that I have of energy conferences just happened in that one moment when I saw those two sitting in a lecture playing battleships. And that's sort of my idea for an energy conference. And so this year we've really, really discussed and talked about how we can bring this energy to a virtual conference online. And we've done all sorts of fun things to make it more of an energy experience for the people at the conference. You know, I always used to bring paintings, so we're going to have a mini art exhibition where I just walk through and show you my new paintings from the year, just like I would have done in the lunch break. People that wanted to join could come along on the tour, and we used to have lots and lots of fun doing that. We're going to have some sort of a sales table as well, that relates to further information about the products. That's exciting. You know, I used to buy loads of stuff at conferences because I would discover things that I just didn't know existed. So that was fun. Personal introduction. This is going to be cool. A personal introduction by Zoe. Zoe is going to make a video introduction, which is super. And I'm so excited that she's decided that she can do that now. And she also, Zoe used to stand at the information desk and greet people as they came in. Hello. So, because she knows everybody. And I put it to her that having that sort of just that energy, that welcoming energy that she has, Zoe's marvelous. To have that at our virtual conference as well, that'd be just great. And yeah, and so this is really important to me. If you ever organize an energy event of any kind, don't do what the psychologists do. Do what the energists do. Think about how people get to have fun, how they're going to be not bored, and start playing battleships. God almighty. I can't say the title of the lecture. I would like to, but yeah, just no. No, we don't want that sort of thing, right? So, let's get started on the topic of the day. Yeah, the conference is next week, and I won't be able, of course, to be here live. But what I'll do is I'll record a video that will be posted at 10 o'clock on Sunday, so that if anybody here who isn't a GOE member who isn't at the conference and they're missing their Sunday live, they've got something to look at. And of course, we can go back to it and have a check on it during the week if it was interesting, which it probably will be in some shape or form. All right, so let's get started. Let's get started with the question. Do you like questions? How do you feel about questions? How do you like questions? How do you like being asked questions? What happens when people ask you questions? I know some people who are, they have had bad experiences at school, and now the question thing is kind of a bit of a problem to them. But I like questions. I think they're cool, but they can also be really dangerous if you're asking the wrong questions. And this really came to me when we were doing back in the day The negative EFT. People kept asking the question, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? So my life's not working, and that must mean there's something wrong with me. So now we ask, what's wrong with me? And I will give lots and lots of love across time and space to the people who did this. Because if they hadn't done this and hadn't done this continuously every single day and then tapped negative EFT on on what's wrong with them. So what's wrong with them? Yeah, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too big, I'm too small. Something wrong with my nose, I'm an idiot, I'm self-destructive, I'm da 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 da. And these people were tapping this all the time, every single day. And every morning they'd get up again and ask that question again, what's wrong with me? And then they'd find something else and tap on that. And after about a year of this, my aspect began to think to herself that we're not actually dealing with a list of things that is wrong with us. And when we tapped our way down the list, no matter how long this list may be, then at the other end, we come out as a fabulous person who can have a wonderful life. And I started to suspect that there was no end to it, that the part of us that answers these questions is a generator. This is not a finite list, but an infinity generator of answers. And if you don't know the answer, the generator will make it up. It'll just invent something. It'll create something. It's very creative, is this generator. It'll create something. So what's wrong with me produces this infinite list that it doesn't end. You'll fall off your own timeline before it ends, because it can't end, because it's a generator. And at this point, then I said to people, I really think you should stop asking that question, what's wrong with me? You really should stop asking that question. Some did. The majority just thought I was being a holistic bunny and too much in love with positives and love and power. But I'm really not. I just like what works. I'm so German in that way. Oh, so very German. I like what works. That gives us immediately, of course, the better way, right? Where we're building better generators, better neurological pathways, better emotions. We can start to ask the questions, what's good about me? And again, back in the day, and this was before positive tapping, this was before emo even. Think about this. There was a time when energy in motion didn't even exist. There was a time before that. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. But back in the day, you said to people, think about something that's good about you, and they'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to. Number one, I can't think of anything. And number two, I want to heal myself of all my psychological problems, my psychological reversals, and all the deep trauma of my childhood, my past lives, and my multiple alternate past lives. In order to do so, I need to deal only with what's wrong with me and nothing else. Oh, just interesting. Yes, so I couldn't get people to do it. Just couldn't get people to start thinking about what's good about them instead, and start spinning up the other generator or the same generator, just by asking it to compute different results. So what's good about me? Make a list. It won't run out. It can't run out. You might think it will, but it won't. And that's fun. So having these infinity generators built into us when we're asking questions, and they just keep giving you answers over and over and over again, and they will make them up as we go along. Only if you ask the negative questions, what's wrong with me, what you will find is that things are getting more and more disturbing the more you ask that question. They get ever more chaotic and crazy. And soon enough, you are in really weird territory. Now, I mentioned that briefly. So what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me is because in a past multidimensional life, I was a hamster. And that's why I can't relax. Okay. It's at that point that I'm just, my energy mind just packs its bags, calls a taxi, gets in the taxi, and heads for the airport. That's a sign that we've asked that question too much. When you're asking the other way around, what's good about me, and this thing spins up, the answers become ever more glorious and energy rich and beautiful. You know, what's good about me? I'm an immortal. I have an immortal soul. I have lived many glorious lives. I'm looking forward to the next ascendancy. It goes the other way, and it is so powerful, beautiful. And thanks to Star Matrix, and thanks the heavens to Star Matrix. Star Matrix has now given us absolutely permission to start thinking about our good memories, our superpowers, the things that we've already experienced, the miracles that we have already experienced. How beautiful is that? Thank you, Star Matrix. So now we can come back and can say to people, all right, now you've done a bit of Star Matrix, you've realized that, you actually have talents, strengths, you've had good experiences in your life. Now tell me what's good about you. And hopefully now the spell is broken. They've already know a little bit about, have built some pathways into these positive memories. And they can actually start, this big water wheel can start to spin the right way around, and they can say, without writhing and embarrassment, they can say, yeah, I can be quite funny sometimes. And I have a good sense of humor. I can see funny things in dire situations, or whatever else comes to mind. And it's not embarrassing. It's not hurting to say. And this positive energy flow can start up. Good morning, Carol Ann. We're talking about questions. Ilka says, I love to ask questions because I like answers. Aha. I think that's also a really German thing. Me too. Absolutely. I like questions. I like those aha moments. There's no English word for that. It's a German moment. Aha! I understand what's happened here. Now I know. That's one of my favorite moments. But I have promised you 2 questions that will change your life. And they will change your life. They will. Absolutely. Even if you come back to me tomorrow morning and you say, I want my money back, these 2 questions have not changed my life. I'm still in the same house, in the same relationship, still in the same job, still have the same problems. Your questions have failed. I want my money back. I'm going to say to you, just keep living life a little bit longer. Because what's going to happen is that at certain moments, certain times in your life, these 2 questions will all of a sudden pop into your head. They will all of a sudden pop into your head. And when they do, they will cause you to think differently, to feel differently, and to make different decisions. And after 5 years have passed, or thereabouts, and you look back on the sequence of events that got triggered by the decisions you made because of these 2 questions, you will realize that these 2 questions have not only really changed your life, but they've changed your life for the better. So when in 5 years' time, then you can come back to me. But for now, let's do this. And these two questions are really simple. And they are, I'm just going to tell you what they are. I will reward you that you were here for 25 minutes listening to me by telling you these two questions. Question 1 is, how can I make this easy? And question 2 is, how can I make this fun? They are highly controversial questions. For example, you've received an invite to go to the funeral of an old aunt that you really don't know, and you'll meet all your family there. They're all going to be there, and it's going to be a funeral, and it's going to be cold and depressing and horrendous. So you dread this. You dread this, but you have to go. For whatever reasons that you believe you need to go, you have to go. You can't get out of it. You have to go to this funeral. And it is sitting literally like a big fat bullfrog on your timeline. And you're looking into the future, and there it is. Bleh, ribbit, ribbit. Oh, that funeral, God. Ugh. It's kind of a blot on the landscape of your future, if you will. And so now we go, all right, I'm going to ask the question, how can I make this easy? And how can I make this fun? What happens in your head when you do that? For example, how can I make going to a funeral with the relatives easy? How can I make it fun? Your brain really starts scrambling, scrambled eggs in the brain. And that is a good state. It's a good feeling. It means there's something going on. There's something changing. There's something happening. There's something happening that hasn't happened before. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? Well, that would take a miracle. If we should get stuck at that point. No, it doesn't. It requires us to think about the whole thing in a different way. How can I make this easy? I make it easy for myself. How can I make it fun? Well, as I'm playing with this example of having to go to a relative's funeral, how can I make this easy? Well, I can make it easier, certainly, by arranging everything so it's really smooth on the day. So I've got all the clothes, I've got the transport lined up, I've got everything absolutely ready to go. So it's including a breakfast to keep the blood sugar levels at a steady level. Really sort of have that laid out so we can flow through it without having to go searching around and getting stressed or missing a bus or something silly like that and being late and getting all wound up about it. So that's an interesting answer to this question. How can I make it easy? Fair enough. And then we can ask, can you make this even easier? And yeah, immediately now with this first one being answered, I can think of other ways to make it easier. For example, by being energy rich, getting up early in the morning and doing some walking in nature first and making sure that my energy body is stable and thinking about the dead person at the funeral, doing some email. And that's also going to make it a lot easier. And now I'm starting to feel better. And here then comes the question, how can we make this fun? Fun? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. I'm asking, how can we make this fun? So, how can I make this fun? Well, we'd have to define what my idea of fun is. Okay, what's your idea of fun? Well, actually helping people. I get a lot out of helping people. I've never thought of it like that, but it's, yeah, there are opportunities at this funeral where I can help people. Not be so sad, not be so reversed. I can possibly just surreptitiously put my hand on the back of a person and move a little something dark or horrible. Yeah. Well, in that sense, I could see going to the funeral, I could learn something. Learning's fun. Learning's fun. I could learn something new, something I would never have learned if I hadn't gone to that funeral. Oh my God. Wow. It's possible there could even be some kind of star event there. Well, that would be fun. Thinking about positive things about, yeah. Wow. I'm now thinking of this funeral completely differently. Completely differently. So we could ask the person, well, it was this big bullfrog on your timeline that was sitting there glowering at you. What is it? When you're thinking of a funeral now, what is it like? And the people are like, it's interesting. It sort of becomes sort of slightly more like the landscape, and there's also sky and wind and air. And this is where I've been to the cemetery before. It's very beautiful, actually. I'm going to go there, and it's going to be interesting. Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be fun? It can be. And that is the big change. That the possibility exists. That this actually is possible for us to do something so things become easy and they become fun. That this is even possible. And I love it because it is possible. Of course it's possible. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? If you take this seriously and don't just bat it away like, like some silly person and, oh, that's just a stupid idea. There, I don't need that. And actually stop and actually let that and actually do that and really think about it. Something that is a bullfrog on your timeline, something that you really dread, a project you have to do, an experience you have to go through, something as simple as, I don't know, redecorating your garage, and you've been dreading it, and you dread it, and it's sitting there like this big bullfrog on your timeline. Ooh, oh no, I wish I didn't have to do that. It's so horrible. It's going to be awful. I'm going to be exhausted, and it's going to be such a mess. And now rather want to do something else. How can you make this easy? How can you make this fun? And don't give me I can't or it's not possible. Don't give me that. Of course it's possible. Just have to think about it just for a little while. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? If we can make going to a funeral easy and fun, we can do all the rest of it as well. So now, this is what I'd like you to go away with. That even without thinking about it at all, at some point, in the next few weeks, there's got to be that moment when there's something happening and this question floats into your mind. Wait a minute. How can I make that easy? How can I make it fun? Just floats into your mind. It's also a stop pattern. It's a stop pattern. When we're going down the same sort of old pathways of belief, or this has just happened that through life we've made these pathways. Certain things are just terrible and horrible, and that you have to be worried about them and hate them and reverse against them. And I'm serious, Next tax thing. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? You can't make tax stuff fun. Are you kidding me? No. No, my child, I am not kidding you. I'm absolutely serious. We're grown-ups. Work it out. You got a brain. You got that generator in there. Spin it up. How can you make this easy? How can you make it fun? Well, I will give you a global tip. Give you a global tip on this. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? Raise energy first and then ask the question again. That's always going to help a lot. Okay, let's have a look at this. Dieter says, funeral, fun, easy, no problem. I'm experienced with just that. Excellent. So now what I would like you to do, dear Dieter, is to map that experience across everything. Everything. Absolutely everything. Going to the dentist for a root canal. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? Woohoo! This is a wonderful, wonderful introduction into reality creation by using nothing but our own beautiful minds and our ability to ask some questions, which is really groovy, I think. So yeah, these two little questions. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? They're life-changing. They are literally life-changing questions. And they'll massively reduce your stress. They will lead you to your own personal, super creative solutions to whatever problems you are faced with in the hard and in physical reality. You can, of course, use that in Sanctuary too, absolutely. If you've got giant mountain and you feel that you have to somehow take it down 1 teaspoon of granite at a time, and it's a copper teaspoon, just stop and ask yourself the same question. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? I absolutely love finding out more about what our beautiful minds can do. I've spent a long, long time talking with my dear energy mind and discovering so many beautiful things about it. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's seriously, it's like having this super precious jewel, this star jewel that's a pendant, and it's worth the entire world. And you're wearing it on your back, and you didn't know it was there because you couldn't see it. It's there. You've had it all along. Your energy mind, you've had that all along. But we also have this beautiful conscious mind, the thinking mind, that's been so mistreated. It had to fill in, especially, God, the age of enlightenment, my ass. In the last couple of 100 years in the Western world, it had to do all the heavy lifting, it was never designed to do all this thinking about everything. It's supposed to have this partner, and then they go ahead and they call it the monkey mind, and you have to meditate it out of existence. Christ, that's like a UFO lands in your garden, ready to go with the key in the ignition. And you call the removal people and say, there's some scrap, can you take it away, please? We need to learn to love our dear conscious mind. And it's our conscious mind that gets to ask the questions. Conscious mind asks the questions, and the energy mind answers. And there's a myriad of ways we can profit from that. We can use that. We can do stuff with it. I just saw a post. Pen says, thank you, Sylvia. That's so useful. Yes, useful. It's got to be useful. If it's not useful, then what's the use of it? German attitude. Let's just see what Linda says. Good morning, Linda. I've noticed some people never ask any questions ever. It baffles me. Are they just not interested in others, or do they feel they're prying and it's inappropriate? I've been told I ask too many. Okay, you mean in the context of interpersonal interaction? Yeah, I found that strange as well. I think they not asking the questions because they're not seeing it, whatever it may be, you know. They're so when people are on the negative side of the Seuss scale, they're stressed. Their worlds collapse and they become smaller and smaller and smaller. And they actually don't see what's around them. That's really the answer to that. They're in these very small worlds and kind of trapped in there. And as long as they're so inside themselves, you know, there's very little in the way of anything and answers questions. Yeah. Curiosity. I love that. Curiosity killed the cat right off. The cat killed the idiot who said that. It went, "Meow. Take this." 2009. Yes. Yeah, they've been around a while. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun? It's originally from Mind Million, 2005. One of those things. It's just a little thing. These two questions. And the response, if you take them seriously, or you do that with another person, like a client or something, and you really get them to move that forward, come on, how can you make this fun? How can you make this even more fun? How can you make this even easier? It's such a fabulous changer of minds. See, and what I'm thinking is, so we got these two little questions from Mind Million 2005. How many other really, really useful questions are there out there that we could be asking, that we probably should be asking, or that we can get other people to ask as well? Like, for example, what's good about me? That's a really good question. I think you should know what's good about you. You should be the expert on that. Because then you can play to your strengths, and when you play to your strengths, you're always strong. It's pretty much what I'm doing. I play to my strengths, not to my weaknesses. That makes no sense if you think about it. Okay, guys. So that was fun. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, looking forward to finding more questions. If you discover a question like that, or a set of questions, please, by all means, share them. Share them in the comments, share them on the members group, send them to me personally, because I think they're precious. They're precious little things. They're like a tool, like a can opener that you have in your cupboard. And when you come across a can, have you ever tried opening a can without a can opener? It's a nightmare, absolute nightmare. If you have a can opener, it's easy. So things like the wonderful question, the two questions that we had today, they're precious, precious little tips and tools that we can, gather together. And every one of them is, okay, not a can opener, they're toys to play with for us human children to take home and play and combine and have fun with. That's, at the end of the day, what it's all about. Life is about experiencing happiness, love, light. And you get there by more fun, by more lightness of heart, and more laughter. And that's just a fact. All right. So next week, conference is going to be brilliant. It's called the Miracle Expansion. And I'm just loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And I feel like ringing in sort of the new world, for the GOE, for its members, and for myself personally as well. So the journey continues, the great adventure of life, of discovery, and finding new things and sharing them with each other. And that's what I love the most. So I'm going to wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. See you next Sunday, Saturday the 13th on the GOE for our conference. It's going to be brilliant. You're going to have loads of insights and take away loads of little tips and tools of all kinds and for all sorts of situations. And that's what the conferences are for. Lots and lots of love to you. We'll have a blessing from Marianne. A week with lots of good questions and even more up-lightening answers combined with ease and lots of fun for all of us. Thank you very much, dear Marianne. That's a wonderful gift for us. Thank you. Linda says, sending loads of love and laughter to all. That's what we need more of in this world. Less screaming, less shouting, less arguing, less freaking out, less being triggered, and more love and laughter. And that's this, it's a fact, it's the cure. Totally, 100%. Ilka says, so lovely. Thank you for these precious gifts. Highly appreciate it. Oh, thank you for being here with me because, without you, this would never happen. So thank you. So, my friends, have a fantastic week. And you will see my aspect self for next week's Sunday Live with Sylvia, which I'm going to record possibly on Wednesday. So if you have anything that you particularly would like me to talk about, explain, demonstrate, or otherwise share or initiate, games to initiate, please let me know in the comments or send me a message, send me an email, and I'd love to hear from you. So lots and lots of love and star sparkles for all. Bye for now. How can I make this easy? How can I make this fun?